Hello friends, this video on motion and measurement of distance part 11 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Word from one unit to another. Question number 6. The distance between Radha's home and her school is 3250 meters. So this distance is equal to 3250 meters. Express this distance in kilometers. So again, let's remember the same table: milli, centi, deci, meter, deca, hecto, kilo. So we have to convert meter to kilometer. So basically we have to convert meter to kilometer. So we are coming from top to bottom. So we are going to divide. Divide by what? 1, 2, 3 steps. So we will divide by 1000. So therefore we can say that 1 meter is equal to 1 by 1000 kilometer. Therefore 3250 meter would be equal to 3250 divided by 1000 kilometer. So this would be equal to 3.25 kilometers. Question number 7. While measuring the length of a knitting needle, the reading of the scale at one end is 3 cm and at the other end is 33.1 cm. What is the length of the needle? So let us say this is a knitting needle. Now when you may try to measure it using a scale, how do you measure it? So it says that on one end the reading of the needle is 3. So maybe you have started measuring it from the 3 mark. So at one end it might be 3 and on the other end it is 33.1 centimeter. So let's say this is the start reading, this is the starting reading, and let's say this is the final reading. Okay, so if we want to measure the length of this, what would be the length of this? The final reading minus the starting reading, because the final reading would be the total distance from here and the starting reading would be the total distance from here. And what is the length of the needle? Length of the needle is this total distance minus this total distance. So then you are left with the length of the needle. So basically the length of the needle would be equal to the final reading minus the starting reading. So the final reading in this case is 33.1 centimeter minus 3 centimeter. So this is equal to 30.1 centimeter. So 30.1 centimeter is the length of the knitting needle. So I hope you understood it. So since this is the final reading would mean the reading from point 0. Again, initial reading would mean this much reading. So when you want to measure the length of the needle, so this entire reading minus this much reading. Question number 8. Write the similarities and differences between the motion of a bicycle and a ceiling fan that has been switched on. So when you talk about the similarities, so let's first note down the similarities. So what are the similarities, do you think? So if you look at the motion of a fan, it moves in a circular path. The blades of the fan move in a circular path. Similarly, the wheels of the bicycle moves in a circular path. So one similarity is this, that in a bicycle the wheels move in circular motion. Similarly, the blades of the fan exhibit circular motion. So that's one similarity. Now when we talk about the difference, so the difference is that in case of a bicycle, overall the bicycle has a linear motion, even though the wheels are exhibiting a circular motion. So both the wheels are exhibiting circular motion, but the bicycle as a whole is moving on a straight path. So the bicycle as a whole has a linear motion. But when you talk about a fan, the blades of the fan moves in a circular path, but the fan as a whole do not have any circular motion. So there is no circular motion involved with the fan. Question number 9. Why could you not use an elastic measuring tape to measure distance? What would be some of the problems you would meet in telling someone about a distance you measured with an elastic tape? Now, when you talk about elastic tape, the name itself says it is elastic in nature. So you can actually stretch it. Now, when you stretch it, its length changes. Correct. So when you are using such a tape which is like flexible, and when stretched its length varies, so obviously the distance that you are measuring with that tape is also going to be incorrect, because maybe you stretched it more and measured the distance. So basically you are measuring an incorrect distance. So therefore when this type of tape is stretched, their length would change, and therefore the distance which you would measure would also change. So this will not have any uniformity, and because of that it cannot be used to measure distances. Question number 10. Give two examples of periodic motion. So periodic motion is something which repeats itself in periodic intervals of time. So one good example would be the pendulum of the clock, which keeps moving in periodic interval. Another example could be the swing in the children's play area. The swing is another good example of periodic motion. Now, I think we have reached towards the end of this lesson, and I believe that this lesson on motion and measurement of time would have given you an idea about different types of motion. So, one thing that I would like you all to do is, in order to understand the lesson better, just do not go through these videos and start answering questions and stop there. Once you have gone through this lesson, start looking at different types of motion happening around you. Start finding out more examples of periodic motion, more examples of circular motion, more examples of linear motion. So that is how you would be able to make science more interesting. That is how you will be able to actually learn science. So, and I think that would be very much beneficial to you. So with this, we have reached towards the end of this lesson, and I hope that this lesson would have helped. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.